Deep Kalra, founder of Make My Trip, is one of the pioneers of e-commerce in India, having started in the year 2000. While most of the internet companies from this era are long gone, overtaken by bigger, better, and faster competitors, Make My Trip has grown stronger and continues to be a leader in one of the biggest travel markets in the world. But all this seemed unlikely if you would have met the young Deep Kalra. Deep Kalra's grandfather had a business of dry fruits in Chandni Chowk, New Delhi. But Deep didn't want to do it. Instead, he wanted to do something fancy. So the best thing to do when you want to do something fancy is, you guessed it, you do an MBA. Once graduated, banking seemed cool and it paid well. So he joined a bank, but soon enough realized that he didn't want to do it. Then marketing caught his fancy. So he worked in a few companies in the marketing role. But soon enough came to a point where he thought that he didn't want to do it. He wanted to do something with more freedom. So he joined an American company which wanted to introduce bowling as a sport in India. He had a lot of freedom, but despite working hard for 3 years, the thing seemed to be too early to work in India. Once again, Deep reached the conclusion that he didn't want to do it. It's 2000 and the .com craze is at its peak. Any company starting with .com in its name was raising money. Around this time, Deep was trying to sell off his wife's old car. He got some offers from car agents, but out of curiosity, tried to see if he can find a better deal on this thing called internet that everyone keeps talking about. Surprisingly, he got a very good deal. This internet thing seemed to be of great value, he thought. There's a moment in every entrepreneur's life when they see an opportunity to build a business that they can't unsee. It was this moment in the life of Deep Kalra. With his banking background, he thought online trading would be nice. But then doing some research, he got to know that the biggest chunk of business in the online space in the US was happening in travel. So online travel seemed to be perfect business opportunity. He quickly drafted a business plan, built a website, hires his initial team, gets funded by the first investor he meets. Everything was happening really quickly. Making a mistake seemed impossible, and that's when he made a big blunder. Not knowing any better, he made the mistake of giving away 70% of his company to his investors for the investment money. It was like being given a really small share in a business, but you had to do all the work. If he failed, he would have lost his time, energy, and confidence. And if he succeeded, he would have made his investors incredibly wealthy while earning peanuts. He thought he had made a fool of himself, so it made sense to start the operations on April Fools in the year 2000. He starts by targeting the US-based NRIs, booking flights to and from India. The company grew quickly and went from 1 person to 40 people in time. Business was looking good. The optimism was in the air and nothing could stop the march of this original Indian internet e-commerce company. But then, exactly 9 months into it, the .com crash happened. It was a bloodbath and the first real disaster after the rise of internet. A lot of .com companies went bust because no cash came that was supposed to keep the lights on. Every investor wanted to cut their losses, and in these pressing circumstances when everyone was giving up on their dreams, Deep realized he wanted to do it. His investors wanted to pack their bags and sell their ownership to anyone who was buying. Deep was in deep trouble, but he loved the idea so much that he decided to invest in life savings and bought the company back from his investors. This boy was not giving up finally. But things were about to get really bad. No new funds were available. All his personal resources were exhausted. Revenues were falling because of the market panic. The time was scary, and the question that popped in Deep's mind time and time again was, do I want to pack my bags and look for some job, or do I want to put up a fight? He chose to fight. As the market continued to be in bad shape, he took a tough call to ensure Make My Trip survived. He had to let go 50% of his workforce. The big office was shifted to a small space to save on rent. Salaries were difficult to pay but paid. But Deep himself did not draw a salary for 18 months. It was all about survival and living to see another day. But as happens after every downturn, things go back being bright again. In next few years, 2 major developments tipped the balance of domestic tourism significantly and opened up floodgates of Indian travel market. Indian Railways started its online booking portal, and low-cost carriers opened up option of flying to millions of Indians. And Make My Trip was right there to collaborate and capture to grow this market by leaps and bounds. From ditches of .com bust to the high of getting listed on Nasdaq in 2010. And over the years, despite heated domestic competition and aggressive moves by big boys of international travel market and a few more downturns, Deep Kalra held his ground with his astute leadership and is in no mood to give up anytime soon.